The break in Durban, the world champions showing their class in that first half. Defensively, though, there are signs of encouragement for the Lions if they can be more clinical in the set piece. 19-7 box. Let's go pitch side with Dewi Morris. He's with Graham Simmons.
Simon, thank you very much indeed. It's times like that when you watch a grim first half that you hope somewhere in Ian McGeechan's briefcase, Dewi, there is a folder marked Plan B. Will you be reaching for it now?
I hope there is going to be a Plan B, because I think Paul O'Connell and the Lions sort of assistant coaches, the coaches, management, whatever, with the biggest 40 minutes of their lives, I think they're going to rip up this game plan, or Plan B, like you said. Basically play off the hoof rugby. Play what's in front of you. I think the Springboks are a little bit rusty in the midfield. Every opportunity we're going to have, get that ball into the midfield, get the ball into Robertson's hands, get a Driscoll making a line off him, and don't slow the ball up going down the blind side. That just gives the Springboks time to set up the defensive line.
Tempo's obviously key here, Dewi.
Yeah.
How key as well as the captain, Paul O'Connell? What has he got to do with this team?
Well, he's going to sort things out. The line-out, which we thought was a strength, well, going into this game, it was going to be hard against Matfield and Bota. That's gone to pieces. The scrum, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jones coming on here. You've got to get your platform. Against these guys, they've got a massive bench, the Springboks. They're just over there training. They'll be coming on. We've got to shore up this game straight away, and that happens with the forwards. It happens with the line-outs, happens with the scrums, and it's up then to the midfield, like I said, to play rugby football.
And if you can put your mind into the Springbok dressing room as well, how pleased do you think they will be, and what will they be thinking right now?
I think, well, I had a chat with Gary Gold, the assistant coach, London Irish guy, you know him well, and this undercooked thing kept coming up, undercooked thing kept coming. He said, well, look, we've been battering against the emerging Springboks for 25 minutes on, 25 minutes off. They're not undercooked, mate.
They're not undercooked, are they, Dewi? Stuart, Miles, back up to you in the front row of the circle. Where are you? There you are.
Thanks, Graham. 13th series between South Africa and the British and Irish Lions. The first test winner has gone on to take the series 9 times out of the previous 12 series. So it is very important to win this first game. Everybody knows it. The Lions will move to the high veld, to Pretoria, Loftus Versfeld, and that bear pit of an atmosphere, and then Ellis Park for the third test at Johannesburg. So it is a vital 40 minutes. Nothing's lost with certainty if the Lions go down today, but it would be very, very difficult to come back, wouldn't it, Stuart?
Well, more so than usual, because you could argue the Blue Bulls are probably the best provincial team in the world, and 5 of their men are key members of this Springbok team. It will be far more hostile in Pretoria than it is here in Durban. It'll be altitude, it'll be threatening, and if the Boks win this, they'll go into it on a high with any shred of rust gone forever.
Stephen Jones with the kick-off to this second half. And that was Jamie Roberts who followed up the kick-off very well indeed there. Paul O'Connell. Can the Lions have the kind of start to this second period that the South Africans had to the first half?
Stay there, I'm right.
I mean, the back players look full of invention, full of ideas that we haven't really seen on this tour so far. Kept quiet for the test series. Nearly created more than the one try, but this has to stop. Line out, scrum, breakdown. They have to have a platform from which to launch those attacks.
Well, all too often in this series we have heard that persistent whistle at the breakdown, and with the scrum and line out creaking at the moment, they've just got to get this breakdown absolutely right. Pienaar, they could also do with getting to him at the moment. It's interesting, isn't it, Phil Vickery? It hasn't been easy for him because of the pressures coming on and him having such a long back and being tall, and you just wonder, if they are going to get a player like Adam Jones on, why do they wait? You know, it's no good making the right decision at the wrong time because the game has gone. Bravery might be required from the management.
Bacchus Bode comes to the front of the line-out then. Young Heinrich Brousseau, the 22-year-old in this Springbok side, but with interference there. And Vickery gets a little pat on the head for his work there, and du Plessis concedes the penalty, and a chance for Stephen Jones to create this position from which the Lions just might be able to do something special at the start of the second half.
I love the clarity of the call of Bryce Lawrence. Leave his head. And I don't think you can argue with that on the evidence of the replay. Vickery making a nuisance of himself. Du Plessis says enough of that, penalty.
Mears, it was down the middle, but that's a fair contest as far as Matfield is concerned. It's more South African ball at the line out, and it's replacement Rob Kearney, who stays cool there. And that's a pretty long kick from Kearney.
That's a fantastic kick from Rob Kearney, because let me tell you, there was nothing wrong with the quality of Ruan Pienaar's positional kick, and there's nothing wrong with the spring heels of Victor Matfield. Tom Croft left for dead by the master. But that was brilliant from Kearney. He found touch, and that stopped South Africa just sending those waves back of those big kicks.
Back in. They've already joined.
Those numbers have to be even now at the line out, having flirted with the ELV. Spies. Yet to really see his pace in the loose, Pierre Spies.
From the side.
Used to be a winger with the South African under-19 side. His dad used to be a winger for Northern Transvaal. You can see him in the loose here because the rolling maul is back. And South Africa are rolling it well. He's got to stay attached though, Brosseau. And he does.
It's a fantastic technical piece of forward play.
And the referee's happy to give a penalty, but not until South Africa have stopped, and they're not going to stop, it seems.
Well, this is fully fledged humiliation against the Lions pack. That's 20 metres plus.
Well, South Africa may be disappointed with the referee walking back to the place of the infringement. Forwards felt that they earned a little bit more than that. Look at this, look how far they went.
Brilliant technique. And the captain in on the side first of all, Paul O'Connell. He gets a shunt there from Juan Smith saying get back. There's also a shunt that just reminds the referee he's in at the side, and South Africa don't look for the erratic boot of Steyn, they look for the corner via the boot of Pienaar. Problems for Paul O'Connell, all sorts of problems. Psychologically, that was one to the solar plexus.
3 lines, please, sir.
Yes, the line's being roughed up here, and the change is now being made. Adam Jones is coming on for Phil Vickery.
Right idea, just got to make a harder target for the beast. What Paul said at half-time, absolutely spot on. Sometimes the shorter man just changes the whole thing. Of course, Paul Wallace and Tom Smith, the heroes in '97, just for that reason. Don't give a target.
The target at the line out again is Matfield. And Brosseau controls another advantage. It's just a flood of penalties here for South Africa.
You were next time you're going to the bin. 10 metres.
Well, this is just a softening up process here. South Africa have decided via the
Next time you go to
banker material of Matfield, they're just going to drive the lines. And the other thing they're doing, they will be working the legs. And look at this for decision making now. This is a team who think they're going for the jugular.
This is the moment, this is the time in the match, even at this stage of the second half, that South Africa have decided it's time, as you say, to go for the jugular, press the button for victory. The Lions are being pummeled up front, and if it comes again now from this range,
17 out!
if they drive over now, then this place will go wild. The backs have joined in, the whole nation has joined in. The smell of revenge has been wafting around this stadium all day. And quite frankly, it will be in the Praetorian air next week too. Brosseau, in just his second appearance for South Africa, his first start, gets his first try. And that was a rolling maul which started way back in the South African half, really.
Well,
it just found the referee interjecting at various points.
Started 60 metres from the line. First penalty was 15 metres on. They went to the corner once, they got another penalty. They didn't go for 3 points. They went to the corner again, and the Lions simply had nothing to do. And it's not just 5 or 7 points. That is an absolute drubbing of the Lions' spirits. The key word now for the men in red is character. They've been tight-knit, they've been close together. Now the pressure is on. Now they have to really play for each other, because technically they're being brutalised by the Springbok pack.
And now Pienaar has his kick, and he has his points as well. The dominance is almost complete here. The Lions still have that shred of hope when they get the ball in the backs. They create, they look dangerous, but South Africa also know that they're not going to let them get the ball.
Now, well, Victor Matfield is just too good in the air, and that's the problem. South Africa now winning all these balls. Botha gets that one, and they've got Steyn and Pienaar. They'll just drill it deep.
Stay forwards! Yep.
Carney. Same off Steyn to Phillips, who's bundled out by JP Peterson. De Preer, Carney with the tackle. Seemed to lose control of that. And no advantage coming, so we go back.
I think it's fair to say if the Lions are going to get back into this game, they need a try from this scrum. It's these positions they've done very well. Frans Steyn can't command that ball. Mike Phillips looking for space, but Peterson, as he so often does, if he can't get his man, he'll always take him into touch to just kill the move.
Guys, can we just step
The
forward?
great and the good of South African rugby there watching on.
Thank you. Very observant.
South Africa now possibly eyeing their highest ever score against the Lions, which occurred the last time they played in the third test in 1997. Now here's O'Driscoll, he's eyeing something else, the try line. Once again, it's that slashing break through the middle. Roberts was with him, advantage being played for the penalty offence. Danger again when the Lions have the ball. Jones. Phillips. Here's Heaslip. Helped on by Jenkins and others. Phillips. Here's David Wallace.
Out 6!
Rousseau's in the way. Phillips pushes him out the way. Mike Phillips, can he make this? It's going to be tight again.
Thank you.
And the Lions need these calls to go for them. They really do.
Get back.
Well, Phillips is so strong, short range. We said they needed a score
No, it's too
immediately.
long. Timo, please.
We'll now see whether
Are
they've
you
got
there,
it.
Christoph?
Yes, Bryce.
Can you check for me try or lost forward, please? In the act of scoring.
Does the Osprey get there? Lunges for the line. He's held first of all. There's the lunge, and he's lost that ball. Bakkies Botha just thinks, is it a lost cause? No, I'll just see if I can do anything to help. And he does. Watch now, Botha just comes in, and Bakkies Botha's hand is there, you know, it's the left hand, dislodges it.
Try and just do something there.
Well, he does dislodge it, and then down goes Lee Mears. So was it Botha that enabled Mears to score?
It is coming first of all off the hand of Phillips. Now let's watch this. Phillips he's about to go for the line. Bakkies Botha never gives up, never sees anything as a lost cause. Phillips now gets ready for the lunge. Botha's hand comes in there, but it's lost before.
Christoph, are you there?
You cannot give that. That is not a try.
Christoph, are you there? Okay,
Decision.
okay.
So forward.
Lost forward.
Yes.
Scrum 5, green ball.
Yes.
Harmony between the officials this time.
Christoph Burdos,
Sub. Thank you.
that time not incurring the wrath of Bryce Lawrence, the referee, you'll remember in the first half. The nature of the restart of the game.
Down the middle.
Caught a little friction between the two officials. Lee Mears, well, his
Yeah.
final act was
You can't hit him
nearly
from
to
that far.
score,
Crouch.
but nearly
Touch.
not
Pause,
good enough.
engage.
Matthew Rees is on to replace him. It was a better scrummage.
Oh, what a piece of driving play from Spies.
Yeah, it was powerful from Pierre Spies, and that's a lovely service there to Pienaar, just where he wanted it, to create the angle for the clearance. And what a clearance it was as well.
Just textbook rugby, that, nothing flash. It's a good scrum from the Lions. The dynamic driving pace of the number 8 cleared to Pienaar and 45 metres. I mean, that's a good scrum from the Lions, but look at Spies there. He gets past Wallace, that's the key. It's just a metre, but that metre is all important because it puts the men in green on the front foot.
Rees better at the line out there with Wallace rising high. Stephen Jones. Phillips. Rees and Croft. Phillips again. This is Heasley. O'Connell trying to get there.
Leave it
Alan
two.
Wynne-Jones too. Phillips to the blind side to Rob Carney. Phillips and Jones, and now Wallace and O'Driscoll. He's trying to push it back on the floor, but he's being robbed here. Corey de Priya. Well, covered by Carney.
Holding.
And the referee's given the penalty for holding on.
And then he played it.
In the game Tuesday, once or twice, Lions players got isolated, and the net result was that they were forced to hold it and then play it, and that happened with O'Driscoll there. The Lions have got to put more men more quickly into the breakdown.
And it doesn't get any easier at the breakdown with that man coming on. So versatile, Darnie Rousseau, and so unlucky not to be a regular international starter. And he replaces Brousseau, who's a try scorer.
Well, that's a very interesting call, because Brousseau is an out-and-out fetcher along the ground. Rousseau is anything but that. But South Africa have an edge on power, and what they've done is replaced the smallest man in their pack with one of the biggest back rows on the planet, and that just means there's even more oomph coming through these drives, through the scrums, through these rolling mauls. It is going to get pretty hard for the Lions.
This is Rousseau's 37th cap. 19 as a flanker, 10 as a number 8, 7 as a second row before today. So that shows how versatile he is. Shows what a big bloke he is as well. So say a different type of player to the smaller Heinrich Brousseau. There's a penalty. This time it's South Africa's turn to hold on and prevent the Lions from getting their hands or feet on it at the ruck.
Some credit here to the Lions effect. Paul O'Connell, now that time he is the first man in there. He does the job, seals it off legally, and South Africa give the penalty away.
And he stayed on his feet. That was the key thing. Played some rugby in the last 5 minutes, the Lions. Need some points to show for it, though. O'Connell to Phillips, who so nearly scored. O'Driscoll. Jenkins. Good play by O'Driscoll again.
Here it is.
He's the constant threat, isn't he?
Jones. O'Connell. Phillips. Tommy Bowe, haven't really seen him as much as the Lions would have wanted to. Jenkins. And held up there, you can see the power of Spies. Jenkins sets it back. Here's O'Driscoll and Roberts. Nice switch between the two centres. Monya in support. Picked up by Phillips, given to Matthew Rees. Try here, and there might be some daylight. Might be.
O'Driscoll and Roberts have combined very well in adverse conditions, you know.
Phillips to Jones. Monya. Good handoff from Monya on Smith. Now it's Carney. Carney had Bowe outside. Chose not to use him. Gethin Jenkins to Mike Phillips. Stephen Jones. Matthew Rees. Adam Jones just bridges there, the replacement. Here comes Tommy Bowe. Tommy Bowe bounces off the tackle. Jenkins was trying to get there. Referee's going to give a penalty, I think, or is it just the knock-on? Knock-on. Habana has taken exception to something.
Almost a moment there, wasn't it, Tommy Bowe? We talked about how well the centres have gone, but Bowe is very strong, and he's through Joanne Smith, and that's some play there. The knock-on from the South African. You see Gethin Jenkins, who's still charging around the park, and there you can see Rees and Habana, who's a pretty mild guy most of the time. He was furious there.
Would you say where it made contact?
Yes.
Saw the arm go forward.
Okay, have you got a mark?
I've got just in where number 6 is, just in that spot there.
Intervention from Stuart Dickinson, the very
16.
experienced official.
16.
It's Rees. It's Habana's
16.
anger.
Once
Lions
again,
can
no
ill
debate.
afford this.
Touch judge flagging, you punch someone on the ground, it's a penalty. Punching. Foul play.
Well, it's got to that point where you start to feel it's just not going to be the Lions' day in whatever aspect, but that seems to have been self-inflicted. Let's see, in comes Rees.
Yeah, well, he has thrown one there, hasn't he? There, you could say there's not a great deal in that, but it's a punch thrown by a man standing on someone who's prone, and that's a penalty, and that's just poor discipline. Poor discipline.
And it adds to the list of ones that got away for the Lions today. Here's de Pree, Pienaar. Phillips. That's excellent from a very difficult angle.
They got that wrong, South Africa. Pienaar came up and they just gave the old Dan Carter reverse kick, but Brian Habana had come off his left wing and was standing outside him, so when the kick came in there was nothing there. Becker and Kankowski, it doesn't get any easier. Two youngsters who have huge futures about to come on.
And Jacques Fourie about to come on. And Becker.
Did I say Kankowski there? Why did I say that? Because I'm in Durban. Fourie, who's an outstanding player and a centre.
Who looks a bit like Kankowski.
Does he?
Here's du Plessis. He's the latest player to be in control at the base of the maul, taking over from the substituted Brissot. Habana coming through, and if he'd have taken that, he could have gone straight through, but that was sterling defence. It really was. Carney.
Again, good South African play though. Fourie du Plessis just keeping it very simple there. Box kick. Habana uses his pace to chase, as we see. Becker and Fourie. Look at the quality of that kick. And Habana, he's come very hard at that. That's a fine catch from Carney under immense pressure.
Here comes Becker, replacement in all 3 autumn internationals at the end of 2008. A very reliable squad man, and Jacques Fourie comes on for Jean de Villiers. He's been out for a while with injury. 2 months, in fact, 18th of April. He did play, didn't he, in the warm-up game against Namibia. And Fourie is a fine player. Well, he really is. He has a great try-scoring ratio and a lot more to his game besides.
Great support player. He runs very hard close to the forwards. A very dangerous man in field.
Talking of which, so is Jamie Roberts. And there's a man who's not giving up. Phillips, Jones, Croft trying to show his pace through the middle. Can he get it to Jones? No, he can't. Just went to ground. The pass would have been on Phillips. Alan Wynne-Jones is held up, trying to get the ball back to his colleagues.
Here it is, leave it, leave it!
Again, Bismarck du Plessis sorts out the fringe. What about Monu? As he sorted out there, there's looks to the referee as he collided with Jacobs, but it's waved on, and Steyn. Carney. Loose ball might work here. No, that's adjudged to have gone forward. Well, the initial knock-on, at least, came from the Lions.
Good high ball. Lions gave themselves a chance. They haven't won that many of them. This is a lovely play from Brian Habana. Just pulls Tommy Bowe wide to make space for Frans Steyn, and then, as he's done for much of this day, it's a pinpoint kick to the 22. But the Lions kicking back a little bit better this second half.
Green ball. Yeah, just wait. Just wait. Green ball.
And this game can be a very complicated one to analyse, can't it? But today, I think it smacks you right between the eyes. If it is going to be a South Africa win, where it has been won, exactly which areas, and where the Lions could have won it had they had the same kind of ball.
Well, power and precision up front, and sheer accuracy.
Du Preez with the quick one. Rousseau.
Stay there.
Smith. Du Preez. Pienaar. Just threads that through towards the corner. What a kick again. In a pretty majestic performance from Ruan Pienaar, it really has.
Well, his coach called him the Tiger Woods of rugby, and I think that's a little bit premature, but this has been a high-class performance. This really has. It's been nerveless when you consider how little rugby he has played this summer. He's had so much time, but one of the things we haven't said, his pack have put him on the front foot, and the Lions haven't been able to get anywhere near him. Somebody needed to ruffle his feathers, and he hasn't, and he's striding around like a peacock.
Rees and O'Connell combined there, as they had to, just short of the Lions line. Phillips not risking the pass. It's about how close Monyu can get to Peterson. Well, not too close. Peterson is away, but not from the chasing centres, Roberts and O'Driscoll.
Great work by the centres.
They've had excellent games, both of them. Phillips, Jones. Here comes Wallace from deep to find Carney. Now it's Bowe. Tommy Bowe. No. Andries Becker. And Habana's involved again, but Bowe thinks he's got a case, and then a little push by Becker at Bowe.
So again, Springbok defence, very athletic, very quick, getting across there. Tommy Bowe so good for so much of this tour, just can't find the space. And flat ball, Becker, he's a real athlete. And then Habana goes just to make sure. And Tommy Bowe throws a ball away, I'd say more in anger than anything else. He's fired up, Brian, maybe because he hasn't got a try. Now the Lions, 20 minutes to go. Stephen Jones has to go for something very near the corner here. And the Lions have to use, well, will they use their best midfield moves, or will they think this one's done? Let's keep something in the locker for the second game in Pretoria. Now you can't think like that. You've got to believe.
Got to believe. And still doing the maths, trying conversion here. Just over 18 minutes to go of the 80.
It's happened.
It has happened. And there's Heaslip to try and make it happen. O'Connell just got to nail the finish here.
Stay one.
And not be 1 metre short or just dropping the ball over the line. Wallace. Jenkins throws himself in. Monyu's come this side, but he's covered now, so Phillips goes right. Alan Wynne-Jones. Mike Phillips thought he was going to play that. Referee is going to give a penalty as Phillips was prevented from playing it. Got to go for the try here, Jones.
Still advantage.
Slowed right down, and they find the momentum. Croft is just trying to hang on to the ball. Phillips, O'Driscoll, Habana comes in, he's knocked that on, now we'll get the penalty.
O'Driscoll knew that it was a pass to nothing. The arm was still up there, Bryce Lawrence said that. Now, it hasn't been easy for the Lions scrummaging, but they really do need possibly to just set a scrum here, because they've got to take these Springbok forwards in. They're very athletic and they've defended it supremely well. You've seen that with Bakkies Botha going off and Becker covering the ground like a giraffe. I mean, Lions have to tighten them up here. Driscoll Bow.
Nearly 50,000 in the stadium to watch this. It's been an incredible noise from the moment when the teams ran onto the field. It's also been an incredible task for the Lions. And then look at those two to come on in the front row. But first, this scrum, will it lead to a try? Stephen Jones to Jamie Roberts, who again gives it everything on the charge. Phillips to Rees. Now it's out with O'Connell. Two or three South Africans there to make the tackle. Stephen Jones to Brian O'Driscoll. Tries to sneak the chip in for Tommy Bowe, and he nearly took it. Oh, that word nearly, you're getting fed up with it.
Again, O'Driscoll saw the space, but I don't think he wanted to kick. South Africa's pressing defence forced it on it. And I must say, if Tommy Bowe catches that, you'd bank your money on Steyn ushering him into touch.
And it's a double change in the South African front row with Guthro Steenkamp and Dion Carstens coming on. And that means the Beast and John Smith will go off. Victor Matfield still out there, of course, as vice-captain. He becomes captain. And Morné Steyn is coming on as well to win his first cap for Rohan Pienaar. Steyn of the Bulls, Super 14 finally, scored 19 points. Top scorer in the Super 14 season and in the Currie Cup last season. He's earned his place.
He has, and Pienaar will earn the applause of the home crowd. Sporting a little bit of a cut above his right eye. He's played beautifully today.
Wallace has his man as Spies tries to bring this one away again. Du Preez, well, that's an introduction into international rugby for Steyn, and he found Habana. He stayed as cool as you like. Here's Carney. Monya still travelling there. He's got the ball to Jones. That was brilliant from Jones to Roberts to keep that ball alive. But the ball gets back on the South African side. How did it get there? Well, the referee didn't like it. Phillips to Jones. It's another kick to nothing with the penalty already in the bag. Croft is taller, but not quicker than Habana, and Habana was there.
Well, South Africa now, with the score at 26-7, they're quite happy if they feel the Lions are in a really dangerous attacking position to just concede the penalty, because the Lions can't go for 3 points. They can't chip their way back into this first test. They have to go for broke every time, so a penalty does them no harm at all. And in these situations, you often think referees should go to yellow cards, because the team that's winning have a license, really, when they've got a margin, just to close the game down, as Martin Williams comes on to try and introduce a little bit of Welsh magic
to open the game up.
Yeah.
This is turning into quite a strong spell for the Lions. I know the points aren't there to reflect it, but maybe clutching at straws, but thinking about next week, something to build on if it is to be a defeat, which it is increasingly looking like.
To counter that as well, one has to say South Africa think they've got this game in the bag, and I think there has been a withdrawal. You've got to counter, work out the balance of it.
Another penalty. You wonder when the referee is going to consider a yellow card here. Phillips to Jones. They didn't hang around, but even then the South Africans were there in numbers. But this is strong. It's also just short again. Somebody needs to find a way over. Phillips, is that man going to be O'Driscoll? No, he's not. He's pulled back by Andries Becker.
Come back.
Martin Williams just come on. Paul O'Connell, the captain. Mike Phillips
Come back, Green, 22.
Everybody's having a go, it seems, to try and drive over here. Phillips again, nearly an interception for Habana, and he would have gone.
Stay there.
And that would add insult to injury, really, but the Lions keep pressing with Rees and Phillips and Jones. Not many men here, but one of them is Roberts, and he counts for 2. Jamie Roberts.
Leave it, Green. Thanks.
Phillips, O'Driscoll, it's through at last! Croft again! Is there time?
Well, it's 2 tries for Tom Croft, but again, it's this centre partnership that's making it work. A star is born today, even if the Lions are going to lose. Jamie Roberts has been superb, and again, O'Driscoll is the one luring Springbok defenders into his web. Fabulous run from Roberts, and then this time the defence just breaks. O'Driscoll, simple enough for him. He draws the man. Croft with that pace and that eye for the try scores, and the Lions, well, they got 12 minutes to go.
It could be a try more about next week than this, but you never know.
Well, you know, we just said Brian Habana nearly went, and that would have been end of the game. You know, Lions get an interception from nowhere. Suddenly it's 26-21. South Africa have been the better team, but maybe because they were so far clear, they have taken their foot off the pedal and they've lost their momentum and allowed the Lions to come back into this game.
Steyn restarts. Ricky January is on for Fourie du Preez. Here come the Lions again. Heaslip, Phillips, Jones, Roberts. Well, it's brave if nothing else. O'Driscoll. After this goes Carney. He fells Francois Steyn. In goes O'Driscoll, had a go, but the fringe door was shut.
Ooh, well, there was a knock-on by Steyn first there.
I agree.
Quite clearly. And I don't understand how the near-touch judge, Vinnie Monroe, didn't see this. Watch now. There you go.
Yeah, I've got a scrum. Come on, let's go. Come on. Release, take back.
Just looking at Joanne Smith there as well. He's blowing a bit.
Crouch.
No, this is where the lack of match practice comes in, the final 20 minutes. January, what a horrible ball to give that was to Steyn, but again, the young man copes well. Here goes Monya. Can the Lions make it really interesting with another score?
Great take.
They're there in numbers again. It's back quickly to Phillips. It's Jones. It's O'Driscoll. Francois Steyn. Lions need to push him out. O'Driscoll missed him. Steyn is strong.
He's been a good player as he's used his weight really well at fullback.
Well, he's big in all areas, isn't he? Those strong legs just locked Mornay Steyn. This is going to be Carnes. Phillips and Jones. And the Lions with O'Driscoll and O'Connell and O'Callaghan now on. Here's Jones again to Martin Williams. O'Callaghan feeds to Matthew Rees. Another penalty.
Into the corner. Into the corner, 26-17. No, Phillips goes quickly.
Playing at pace, here's Jones to Croft, who's looking for a hat-trick, dare we say it. O'Connell. One more try here, and what a finish we've got. Williams. Stephen Jones to Brian O'Driscoll.
Hello.
Stay calm. Roberts, Carney, Monya, one to beat, inside. Oh no!
That might just be it. Ugo Monya, you had to take that one. It's brilliant defence. It really is. That score would have brought the Lions back in. Mornay Steyn has done very well but South Africa are blowing. Wonderful play from Carney. Monya steps in. He's got to finish this one. He's inside Steyn.
Great challenge, great tackle.
You've got to finish those.
You do have to finish those, but take nothing away from the defender who hit Manenball.
Yes, he did. He threw everything at it. There's no doubt, though, South Africa thought this game as won. They've taken off Bakis Botha, Fourie de Priya, Ruben Pienaar, and the Lions have a sniff, and that try would have sent this place absolutely berserk.
What are you saying?
Still time.
No, I was talking to him, sorry.
Well, goodness knows what you're feeling back home.
Yeah.
The Lions fans don't know what to do with themselves here.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage. Start, leave him half.
Scrum's better.
Advantage.
Everything's better.
Got the ball.
Turnover at the very least.
Look at Stephen Jones. He's going mad now. The Lions, they're believing. The crowd are believing. It's still something of a fairy story. It's an accidental knock on Spieth into his Blue Bulls mate Danny Rousseau. It's a position from which the Lions have to score, and if they do score, we have 7 minutes of mayhem, because South Africa have lost all their initiative, all of it.
And they're feeling the heat now. All those 12 years that came out in the opening exchanges when they burst onto the field. Well, it can work the other way if it starts to go against South Africa.
Fine.
Well, they're desperate to get Ruben Pienaar back up. I think they closed the book on this chapter of the series too early, didn't they? And it's just left the Lions a little bit of a chink.
Advantage.
Phillips needs to trust the backs here. He does. It's O'Driscoll and Jones. Go to Monya. Get it outside. Doesn't.
Still advantage.
There were two men waiting. Just couldn't work the ball to the right. Another advantage.
No advantage.
Too many penalties not to have a yellow card for Bryce Lawrence.
Where is the yellow card? But the Lions normally will be thinking about that. They're just thinking about the try here.
Scrum. Vinny.
And there's no doubt at all now. Match, South Africa haven't played for a long time. The individuals just had that game against Namibia, which wasn't much more than a warm-up. They've had 25 minutes against the emerging box. But this team, though it hasn't played together for a month, has been playing intense rugby, and they are looking fitter. Pienaar's back.
And it's Adi Jacobs, the man who's taken off. Stays. Both of them do. Francois and Mornay.
Steyn goes to full-back. Franz goes to inside centre. And that's not a bad idea, because Roberts and O'Driscoll are causing carnage in that area.
It's got to be now, though, for the Lions. They know that. He slipped. Here comes Roberts! Just held up. O'Callaghan.
Quick ball left.
You just wonder what the extra man would have done.
Come back.
But here's Phillips. Mike Phillips, there's the try!
South Africa have bullied the Lions for an hour, and they are now on their knees. They are literally on their knees, and the Lions, they have a great chance to win this. I'll repeat that, a great chance, because South Africa are just rocked now. They're playing rugby on the back foot.
Could it be an absolutely unforgettable Lions day? Jones with a conversion. We've got 5 points. We've got less than 5 minutes.
We have an unforgettable 5 minutes coming. Oh! From the ashes.
The Lions have got to keep playing.
Well, they will just keep the pace up now, Miles, the tempo up. They said if they can keep the ball in play, the longer they do it, they think South Africa will tire. It didn't look that way for a long time. Now they're against the clock as much as South Africa.
Mornay Steyn restarts. Again, it's gone to Tommy Bowe.
Great chase, Becker, one of the fresh men.
That was much more committed. Here's Jones.
No. Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
January drops will get a scrum from exactly that point.
Oh, Ricky January. The Lions love you. What a moment. Stephen Jones's kick was born out of the pressure that was being put on by a very well-organised South African defence. Ricky January's error is just so sloppy. Fourie du Preez on that pitch. You don't think that error's made, and that man knows it.
The man who scored a dramatic late winning try against New Zealand in the Tri-Nations last year. Well, what has he done here?
Well, the thing is, Miles, when the Lions have had good ball, they have created holes. As Dion Carstens gets treatment, they created holes when the Springboks were fit and fresh in the first half, and when the Springboks dominated the set piece. Now they're tired and they're losing men.
Could have predicted this one. Yeah. South Africa want John Smith back.
Yeah.
Carstens is feeling his shoulder. Not the biggest shock.
John Smith regarded as one of the outstanding leaders of modern times, and don't they need him now? Only 3 minutes to go, but it's a big 3 minutes for the World Cup winning captains. Tenure on the tight head. They need their leader, you're right.
The Lions need to get this one in and out.
Get it to Roberts, get it to O'Driscoll. They're terrorising them. Dowie set it down on the touchline.
Roberts and O'Driscoll fidgeting in midfield, just waiting for this. There goes Roberts again! Oh, Tommy Bowe nearly! Had Tommy Bowe taken that, I think he had the step on the man. If all those chances and now all those tries for the Lions. Just one more. Bowe. O'Driscoll. What a season he's had. But he wants the Lions win at the end of it. It's a penalty, all offside, says the referee.
5 minutes more and they could have gone for the 3 points, win it with 2 penalties. But if the Lions are going to win this, it is going to be a glorious and a remarkable story. It's not coming from penalties. Stephen Jones into the corner, you send it. O'Driscoll down.
Indeed. Well, this will be worrying for the Lions. They need Brian O'Driscoll now. The medical staff with him. He chipped into space. He thought it was on, and it was almost there for him. And there you can see he goes, well, looks like he's gone straight out there.
Don't know whether he caught a South African knee. Full-blooded challenge by both players, nothing untoward at all. I think it's Spieth, isn't it? Watch what happens now. He just catches him in the back, and then it's the whiplash almost on the neck. Oof. He's not going off now, Miles. He's not going off.
Bill Pask and Dr. James Robson, a thumb up from James Robson. That's all that O'Driscoll needed. Renan O'Gara goes back to the bench. Stephen Jones must go for the corner. Everybody out of their seat here.
Oh, that's very conservative.
It's off the side of the boot.
But it's still close enough because O'Driscoll's not a normal being, and Jamie Roberts is just terrorising the men in green in the midfield.
Got to get the call right here, got to get the ball first.
Stolen.
It is stolen.
Knocked on.
Knock on, says Bryce Lawrence. The Lions still live.
We think the Springboks have taken from the Lions and then they give it back. The scrum is now better than the line-out. The line-out's been a problem. Great pressure, you know. Martin Williams up there. It's stolen first of all, but then the knock-on.
One try. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Here's Bowe. And you talk about commitment. It is oozing out of every pore of the Lions here. O'Connell, the South Africans look to the referee for help there. They don't get it. It's Rees. And we're almost in the final play here. Phillips to Jenkins.
Your big call now, Lions. Your big call.
Phillips to Jones. O'Driscoll. Oh, taken Roberts. They're calling for support on that side. The defence. It's a South African penalty, and it's the Test match too. It's surely the Test match. And what a Test match it's been.
Well, even if the Lions lose now, it's been an unforgettable display of character. I think South Africa and Peter de Villiers will reassess the way they took off men like Smith and the Beast in 64 minutes and their half-backs. They gave the Lions a chance, but the Lions have taken it brilliantly. Maybe not quite enough, but there's one line out, one still, and they have a go. It's been a hugely brave effort. What a performance from Roberts and O'Driscoll in the centre. What a performance.
Greatness is made in moments like these. Remember Justin Harrison stealing from Martin Johnson in 2001. Can the Lions win this ball?
Well, he checks he hasn't heard the call to make sure the tannoy will go. The hooter goes, and it will be the last line out.
He is Bismarck Duplessis. He is Andries Becker, and he has won the ball and therefore the game. Off the field for the win for South Africa that they get, but only just. The world champions taken to the brink. Taken right to the brink. 26-21 in a classic Test match between these two that will never be forgotten, and what the Lions must remember thinking about next week is to keep on playing. They have the weapons. They really have the weapons. Surely it has some repercussions for next week now.
Well, at the very least, it gives them some morale going into it that at the hour mark it didn't look like they had, because South Africa were too strong for most of the game in the scrum and the line-out. They controlled the game via the boot, but what the Lions had were two incisive centres who were quite brilliant, but they also had character. When their backs were to the wall, they looked deep. They've talked about how they bonded off the field. The moment came and all that off-field bonding had to really register where it mattered, and it did. They didn't win the game, but their pride is restored. It's going to hurt because they're 1-0 down, but had this game finished 26-7 with South Africa in control, you would have dreaded Pretoria. The Lions can now go to the Highveld, can go to Loftus Versfeld and say, hey, we play at that pace of the last 20 for the first 60, and it's 1-1.
Stuart, can they turn the forward issue around? Can they do that in a week?
Well, yes, they can. I mean, the line-out we know is always going to be a problem, and that is not going to change. But, you know, it looks like Adam Jones is going to have to start. He's a smaller man, he's a harder target. It's almost Smith and Wallace again.
1-0, 2 to play. What a strong position, what a strong team South Africa are, but the Lions proved at the end they're strong too. Paul O'Connell, part of this pack. Key questions come from Graham.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Paul O'Connell. Heroic. Did you lose that, or did you just run out of time?
I think we ran out of time, but I think when the ref gives that many penalties against you as well, you don't really stand a chance, you know. It was just penalty after penalty after penalty against us, and no doubt some were our fault, but you know, it was just, it was a killer for us.
You were 19 points down after 60 minutes, Paul. You came within striking distance of actually winning it. What turned it around, do you think?
Oh, we were playing quite well. When we did what we wanted to do, we were getting over the gain line, and we were opening them up a bit. And the more we did that, you know, the stronger we grew. You know, that was a very bad try to concede off the two mauls, and that hurt us badly. But the scores from the penalties killed us as well. I mean, geez, if a few of those tries had stuck, would have been game over and we would have won it, you know.
How encouraged are you? Same stupid question to ask when you just lost a game, but how encouraged are you? There's still 2 more games to go. You scored 3 tries to 2. You lost 3 balls over the line that could have been tries, and you were tearing them apart in the last 10-15 minutes. How encouraged are you for next week and the week after?
Yeah, very encouraged. We're playing a good brand of rugby. We played really well. I think, as I said, the penalties killed us. We cut out the penalties, and I think we would have won the game.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks.
Well, what a game. They were dead and buried, the Lions. Character, though. De Villiers took off the stars, and the Lions almost made them pay. A loss, but encouragement, no doubt, for next week. They have to play with pace and width. The Lions were the ones who looked match fit towards the end, onto Loftus with some heart, but also with disappointment as well. Now, we are giving you a chance to win a trip to the second test as well. HSBC offering the chance VIP for 2 to Pretoria next weekend. Prize includes business class flights, match tickets, hospitality plus accommodation. Just log on to that website there, www.skysports.com/competitions for entry.
Boys, this is your chance to show what Lions rugby is all about. Are you ready for this?